In our chat here, Animan Hoops asks, what did I miss? Not much. Psychos and sickos unite for a playoff-like edition of the PHNX Suns post-game show, of course, brought to you by our friends over at Bet365. Sign up, use code PHNX365, deposit 10, place a bet for 5, and get $200 in bonus bets as your Phoenix Suns pull away with a 112-107 victory against the New York Knicks. I'm Eric, that's Gil. We've got Espo and the Freckled Mamba behind the Mac, making all of the magic happen. Of course, Steven will be calling in live from the Morg as the Phoenix Suns move to 8 games above 500, 13-5 at home, and in the matter of a week, pick up wins against the Oklahoma City Thunder and the New York Knicks, 2 finals contending teams, clutch plays late, free throws hit, defense played. Wow, what a game. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, become a member, become a diehard, because your Phoenix Suns are legit. Where the hell do we start?
Ayrton, open the drawer, place the Knicks on the slab, put the toe tag on them, and slam that drawer shut, because the Morg has claimed another victim. Gotta love how this team plays at home. Was that 15-3 or 13-5 at home?
Almost
now.
15-3.
They're 23-15 overall.
Ooh,
this team is 8 games over 500. The Morg has become a home court advantage yet again. All is right in the world.
Yeah, it was so electric in there. And again, it's always cool when you can feel that through the broadcast. And in so many moments throughout the game, you could feel the energy. You could see the fans knew when the team needed them. There was a couple times in the fourth quarter, it got a little scary, but the fans were backing them. And the Suns made the plays that needed to be made. And it really did. I said it at halftime. I said, this might feel like a playoff game. It felt like a playoff game.
That's my biggest takeaway. I mean, look, the Suns now at this point in the season have beat the Spurs twice, the Timberwolves twice, they've beaten the Thunder, they've beaten the Knicks, they've beaten the Lakers twice, which is a team they could see in the playoffs. And beyond that, there have been a couple of other games that have felt like a playoff-like atmosphere. Somebody might turn their nose up at me when I say that back-to-back against the Pelicans felt like a playoff-like atmosphere, but on the road, chippy games, physical games that were close, and the Suns ended up pulling out wins. When the moment has called for it, more often than not, this specific group of guys have not only stood tall and won, but Espo, you talked about this before we went live, they keep on finding different ways to win. Tonight was unlike any other win they've had this season, and it was maybe their most impressive.
Yeah, that's why you throw on the alignment shirt, because this team is aligned. Hey, I did it myself, so I shouldn't A it. But, you know, when you look at it, everybody comes to play, but it's not the one guy, 2 guys that you have to rely on every night to do it. 1 through, let's be honest, in some cases, 15 have an impact on the game. And one night it's Devin taking the lead. Another night it's Dillon. We've seen Colin Gillespie take the lead and Grayson Allen. And then other nights, like tonight, Grayson doesn't have it offensively. Neither does a Jordan Goodwin, but Dillon Brooks and Devin Booker go, all right, it's our night to take over. And that's the mark of a good team and of a special team, is anybody can do it any night, and they find different ways to win. They're a chameleon. They look at their environment and they find a way to blend in and make it work in said environment. This team, there's something special going on.
Yeah,
I've wanted to hold off on saying it because, you want to believe, you want to hope, but games like tonight show you just how damn good they are and how well they've played in the clutch this year. This is a team that does not wilt when things get difficult. This is not a team that shies away when it's hard, or if they make a mistake down the stretch. They don't shy away from it. They find a way to bounce back from it. And I know we're going to get into it in depth, but that Grayson play is the epitome of this season. You've got Oso in a mismatch that he shouldn't be defensively in. He winds up holding his own, and Grayson works his ass off to tap that ball off Mikal Bridges. That is exactly who this Phoenix Suns team is, and they will do every little thing they can to win.
Not for nothing, too. We talked about it when we were watching the game. We talked about during the watch-along. And what you just said, this is not a team that folds after they make a mistake. Oso had just missed 2 free throws. Easy for a young player to try and do too much in that moment and say, I got to get it back. And what he did was he played solid defense against one of the most difficult players in the NBA to guard one-on-one. He switched on to Jalen Brunson, and Jalen Brunson tried all his tricks to draw a foul on Oso Ighodaro. And he stayed out of the way. He played the right angles. And the whole reason that the turnover happened is because Jalen Brunson was trying to off-balance, throw that pass to Mikal Bridges. Grayson was in the right spot in the passing lane, got a hand on it, and didn't quit on the play. And I tweeted it. I said those are called game-winning plays, and that's the coolest thing about this team. First through fourth quarter, there's so many different guys at different points, at different shifts throughout the game. They make game-winning plays. And I think what is so cool about it is everybody's cheering each other on. Everybody's hype about it. Everybody's barking for each other and doing all of this stuff. And if you just make those deposits of game-winning plays, and then at the end of it, they live with the result. And tonight, the result is a great one.
I know we're going to focus on the clutch, as we should. And a lot of, like you said, game-winning plays, Grayson hitting free throws, the Knicks also not hitting free throws in the clutch, and the Suns playing good defense. Y'all know what percentage of the game the Suns led tonight? Like how much they led in this game?
If I had to guess, I would guess like 80?
I guess 46 of the 48 minutes.
They led for 81% of the minutes tonight. Their largest lead was 12. The Knicks led for 11 minutes, and their largest lead was 4. I mean, the Knicks were never out of this game. It was never a full blowout. Every time it ballooned to double digits, the Knicks really made a run. But make no mistake, the Phoenix Suns took care of business from tip-off to final buzzer against this team and did not fold once. Like, there was a point where obviously the Knicks take the lead and the Suns battled back, but they were so impressive in so many different facets tonight. I think let's focus on the end of the game. Let's go ahead and just name our Love the Play, presented by the Arizona Lottery. If you're over the age of 21, play and gift today. It has to be that Grayson save. Yeah. I mean, a game-saving save from Grayson Allen, and a lot of guys would just give up on that play because you're sealed off by the Knicks player. I forget who it was he threw. I think it might have been Mikal that he threw it off of. You're way behind. The ball looks like it's kind of already out of bounds. Most of the time you run there, it doesn't really matter. You're going to get sealed off by the player, whatever. Grayson, hustle, boom. Also before that, dives on the ground for a loose ball as well. And then he hits all of his clutch free throws. He hits every single one. That whole stretch by Grayson Allen, again, like you said, somebody who wasn't on tonight,
was objectively bad,
right?
For a lot of the game.
That is game-winning plays. That is playoff-winning type of performances, where when you get in these situations where your back is against the wall, where the other team has momentum, where you're playing with a lead, and you need somebody besides Devin Booker, somebody besides Dillon Brooks, who both had phenomenal games tonight, 54 combined points for them, by the way, tonight. You needed somebody else to be able to hit those free throws, to step up and play good defense. Grayson Allen doing it on both sides of the ball. In his third game back from injury, these are the individual type of role player performances that, I'm not afraid to say it, they're going to win you a playoff game or two when you make the playoffs. Not if, when you make the playoffs.
Yeah, and it's interesting too because, you know, talking about it genuinely, objectively, more bad than good, I guess you would say, from this game. And also understandable given that it's his third game back from an injury. But a couple plays stand out. You talked about it. Jump ball. Obviously the one that we love from tonight when he forces, you know, out of bounds off of Mikal. There was the lob to Mark that he looked like he was going up for a dunk and he let it go. It's like such a deceptive lob that he had. There was drawn a technical foul on OG Anunoby. And it's just, you talk about a guy who has been in a lot of playoff games in his career. He's a veteran. He's done a lot of things in this league. And even on a night where he doesn't make a three-pointer, misses all 6 of his three-point attempts, goes 2 of 10 from the field, still finishes in double-figure scoring, still finds ways to make his presence felt in this game, make his mark throughout the game in ways that actually actively impact the outcome of the game. And that's why you have guys like that in this locker room. And the fact of the matter is, what's so fun about this team, tonight it was Grayson, it's going to be somebody else next night. And the other night it's going to be somebody else. And it's so cool because every game kind of unfolds. Who's it going to be tonight? And it was cool to see that it was Grayson tonight, especially in his third game back, his first game back in front of the fans in a while.
Well, how easy would it have been to just go, okay, that ball's out of bounds.
Yeah.
We got to reset.
Right.
We got to be – no, that was not the mindset, because they know that every little advantage they can get at any moment is the one that could make the difference.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to just be in that fourth quarter moment. It could come in the second quarter where you have an effort play that outworks a team. It's just as important then, and they do that. That's the mindset. That's what Jordan Ott has instilled. It's the no excuses. Go out there and do what we've taught you how to do, what we've preached, and live that. And the whole roster, up and down the roster, star to guy that's on a two-way contract, will do that every night.
Yeah.
And I love that. Even if they lose, they learn from it, and that's a huge thing.
I want to talk about the star thing in a second here. I want to put a pin in it. I want to officially crown Grayson Allen our blue-collar boy of the night. By the way, you know how much I love this stat. The only member of the Phoenix Suns bench to end with a positive plus-minus. He is the fourth highest plus-minus of the game at a +8. It was ugly, but he got the job done. And look, this was, I would say, kind of an ugly game from the Suns in a couple of different respects. I mean, the Knicks were scoring on some pretty brutal missed assignments, a couple of points throughout the game. Like, New York caught fire. Jalen Brunson did Jalen Brunson things. Like, this was not a game where you're like, man, the Suns just played their best basketball, right? And they still found a way to lead for 81% of the game. Your comment, Espo, about this is everybody. Before the game, Jordan Ott was asked about the Suns' defense. And can we play that clip? This is Jordan Ott on the Suns' defense in pregame.
Best player wants to play defense. That's a helpful hint. Every night he goes out there, plays extremely hard on the defensive end. What Dillon's been able to bring to the group, just his overall competitive edge. Having Mark back there at 7'2", being able to.
Now, obviously, there's more to that answer. But to start it off by saying, when your best player plays defense, it's easy for everybody else. Devin Booker is, bar none, the most unselfish superstar in this league. It is actually comical how willing he is to do whatever it takes to make his team better and to help his team win. Setting a back screen from Jordan Goodwin. I know a lot of guys highlighted that on Twitter tonight. Playing really great defense. I mean, look, Miles McBride hit a shot at the end of the game. Devin Booker was up in his grill. Book switched on to defense against Mitchell Robinson. Devin Booker still went out there, grabbed an offensive rebound tonight as well. Did a little bit of everything, including passing the ball well, which he continues to be unselfish in that sense, but take the playmaking out of it. This is a guy that will put his scoring to the side and say, I will do whatever it takes to bend the defense at my will to get my guys the best open shot, and I'm going to root you on if you're on a heater. Jordan Goodwin, you want to take a shot? Take a shot, Jordan Goodwin. Mark Williams, you need the ball dumped into you in the post? Here, take it, Mark Williams. Grayson Allen, you're on a cold streak shooting. I'm still going to trust you and make the pass. Royce O'Neale, who knows what the hell you're going to do when the ball's in your hand? It's like spinning a lottery. It's like, okay, you're going to hit jackpot here. You're going to strike out. Like, he still passes the ball there. Devin Booker does whatever it takes to be the ultimate team player. There is not another superstar in this league that plays like that. And that is the personification of, in my mind, an all-star and what this team is at its core.
Well, yeah, it starts from the top. I mean, it starts beyond that. I mean, Matt Ishbia preached this mindset, said he was going to hire a GM and that GM was going to hire a coach that had that mindset. Devin Booker embraced it, and it led down the entire roster. This is the most unselfish team in the NBA, in my mind. There's not a lot of ego. There's not a lot of, I got to do it for the name on the back of the jersey, not the name on the front. This is a team that's focusing on, what does it take to win? What do I need to do? What's the smallest thing to the largest thing I can do to impact a win? And Devin Booker is where that starts. Devin Booker puts together such effort when it comes to that. And to your point, is totally unselfish in the approach to it. And if he's having an off night, he decides, I'm going to go do the other things. Guess what? He wasn't having an off night. He still had the assists tonight. They're now 9-1 when he has 8 or more assists this season. right? This guy is going through and doing the things that are necessary, and the whole team's embracing it.
Yeah, and you talk about it starting at the top, right? When your best player, whether it's playing defense, whether it's being selfless, nobody else has an excuse. You know what I mean? Like Devin Booker, there is more that is asked of him than anybody else in that locker room. And that's just like the offensive load, the playmaking load. But if he's going to do the little things and do the dirty work and everything like that, the people who things not as much are asked of them have no excuse to not do it as well. So it's accountability, leading by example in a lot of those times. And I think that's kind of what we talk about when, you know, you get on the shooting percentages or whatever it is and judging his performance based on that. That's a reminder that it's so much more than that.
Yeah, and look, let's not bury the lead here. Let's name our dude of the night, presented by Gila River Resorts and Casinos. You do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit playatgila.com for more details. Yeah, that guy. By the way, Devin Booker in the Valley jerseys, first of all, undefeated this year.
Mm-hmm.
Second of all, caught a body on OG Anunoby out of nowhere, off the dribble dunk in a half-court setting. Just dropped 31 points tonight, 8 assists, only had a couple of turnovers, added 3 rebounds in there, a steal, and a plus 11 on the night.
The big one, 4-6 from 3.
Yeah, 4-6 from deep. He was hitting threes. Devin Booker, man, was the best player on the court tonight. And in the offseason, I jumped on a Knicks podcast and debated Jalen Brunson versus Devin Booker. And don't get me wrong, Jalen Brunson was a good player tonight. But what you saw from Devin Booker on the court, at his size, with his playmaking, with his shot-making ability, the game was getting real tight, and Jordan Ott subbed Brooks and Booker back in, and Devin Booker hit a contested midi, then Dillon Brooks played good defense on the other end, and that kind of settled the game down. It was true superstar stuff from Devin Booker tonight. We are lucky to have him as Phoenix Suns fans. I know that it's not always easy defending Devin Booker because there's so many people hating him, but we know what we have here, and what we have here is the best Phoenix Sun of all time, and somebody who still has a lot more left in his career, and I still think is entering his true prime of his career.
29 years old, by the way.
He's 29 years old, already the franchise leading scorer, and he is a tone-setting, culture-defining player. There's a reason why guys want to come here and play with him, not the other way around.
Well, I think the biggest thing, too, in the evolution of his game is he's learned what the moment needs, what the moment is dictating from him. It's no longer, I'm going to go out there and I'm just going to score because that's what I know how to do. Or it's not one thing. It's reading the moment and understanding what this particular team needs from him on a given night. And again, that's another thing that permeates through the team. And that's probably the biggest difference from Devin Booker now to Devin Booker when he started his career, is that ability to understand in this moment, I need to distribute. I need to be that guy. And in this moment, I need to take over and score. And he's done it so well this year. And I think it's been underrated because people are like, well, the counting stats are a little less than they were, so you're not that good. Yeah, the impact on everything in totality is bigger than I think it's been ever before.
Yeah, you can tell so much, and that's another mark of a good team. And you said something special is brewing, and how happy everyone is for each other's success.
Yeah.
Yes.
And, you know, to see Book super happy for everybody's success and everybody super happy for his success. We've seen a lot of basketball teams. We've been around a lot of basketball teams, and that's not something that is just a given for those teams, right? And again, I think that is the culture that you talk about. That's something else that starts at the top and goes throughout the roster. Seeing how engaged everybody was late game, not knowing if they're going to get back in or not. Jalen Green, who hasn't played in forever, seemingly, how engaged he is on the sideline. So just to see that full buy-in, you know, I think buy-in, accountability are buzzwords we throw around a lot, and sometimes it can get a little cliche, but that is genuinely how it feels to see this team, which is, by the way, now 8 games over 500.
That's what you said it right after the game. Said, hey, this team can play at an 8-game under 500 pace for the rest of the season. By the way, it's January now. Like, we're in this. This isn't just some magical Cinderella run. And they would finish 500, which is 10 games above where everybody predicted them.
Because the Phoenix Suns are 8 games over 500. Suck it, Spike Lee. Suck it, Empire State Building. Suck it, New York.
Suck it, media pundits who took the under
I didn't think I was going to be able to do that anymore. I thought
Well, here you are.
I did not think we were going to have the
Who would've
feelings,
thought?
the excitement,
Who would've thought?
the team. I thought we'd be talking a lot about, hey, 23 moral victories this year. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought we were talking about development. Or how does Rasheer and Kaman look? You know, do we sell at the deadline for picks? Yeah, we're in a very different spot right now. We're in
saying Chalamet.
suck it, Marty Supreme. We're gonna read your super chats here in a second. We'll take a break here in a second. I want to continue to talk about this unselfishness thing, and it's been this theme this past week, right? And this has been a really great week for the Suns.
Hell of a week.
you beat OKC on a buzzer beater. You do lose on the second night of a back-to-back in really weird circumstances against the Rockets on a buzzer beater. You respond by kicking Memphis's teeth out on the road to end your road trip. You come home, you take on a finals contending team in the Knicks, who sure have struggled a little bit as of late, but just picked up a win. But you do it all in a week where Matt Ishbia publicly denies any Dillon Brooks trade rumors. Dillon Brooks talks about Matt Ishbia believes in me. Brian Gregory believes in me. Jordan Ott believes in me. Devin Booker, we are talking about as the most unselfish superstar in the league, doing whatever it takes for his players, belief in the players. And then Jordan Ott trusting Oso Ighodaro to keep in the game late. I was on the watch along. You can go back. I was saying, get him out of the game, put Mark Williams in. And I do think that there was a legitimate argument with that, but the process paid out and it was the right move. That's a confidence builder for him there. Keeping Grayson in when Grayson's not having a great game. That's a confidence builder. This entire team is built off of confidence and chemistry. And we heard the word vibe so often last year, but it really is just this crazy experiment of, can you go from having the most talented team with awful vibes to a team on paper less talented, which clearly they are more talented than everybody expected, but with vibes through the roof? And how does that translate? Well, it translates in games like tonight and seasons like this season, because this is the most impressive story in the NBA, bar none.
Well, it's like college basketball, right? Where you get in the tournament, you'll get those teams that have a one and done guy that there's talent there, but they haven't played together a lot, or they don't have chemistry, they don't have vibes, and they get knocked out by one of these teams that does has that, and that's the heart of it. This team just has something good going, and sometimes you roll with it. That can wind up changing an entire season, an entire outlook for a franchise, because you find something that just works and that's just special, and that you're just, outplay who you are and who you face. So.
Yeah, it's a great blend of like vibes, and again, a group of guys who clearly like each other, but also there's some pretty good fits as far as like the chemistry on the court and how these guys are playing off one another. Honestly, probably even better than we would have imagined in our most optimistic thoughts of it, right? And I think that when you blend those things together, you can't even really like measure for that or account for that until you actually see it in action. And that's kind of why we talk about the flip side. It's like, you can upgrade the roster, but at what cost? We were talking about that too during the watch.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I literally said, don't make a trade.
Like, don't make a trade. Just let this group just rock out, because they like playing with each other so much, and who knows what it will or won't cost them as the leverage gets higher and the stakes gets higher. But before that, like this team, I think to that point again, like the chemistry on the floor, how well they play along with each other, and also like the vibes, allows you to power through a lot of circumstances and otherwise you probably wouldn't power through. To go play on a game where you travel to another state the same day and get there 2.5 hours before your pregame routine normally starts, in an emotionally charged game where the clock ain't working and you're still in it to the last possession. I think that vibes and good chemistry can get you that far, and also not allow you that to set you back anymore, to bounce back and win the next two after that.
Might I remind you of the last year's finals matchup? Obviously OKC, but I'm looking at the Pacers, right? A team that on paper, everybody said they were less talented. A lot of people predicted them to lose every single series they were a part of, and because of their chemistry, because of how well coached they were and how their roster fit, they made it to the NBA Finals. I'm not saying the Suns are making the finals this year, but every time something like this happens, your expectations for the season do change, and I don't care if people don't want to have expectations. You could do whatever you want as a fan. This team has deserved and earned expectations, and I'm putting it on them personally to make the playoffs. This is a playoff team in a tough Western Conference. They've proven it. I'm going to treat them as such. They've earned it. Yeah. That is earned, not given.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a team like that every year, right? This could be like, you can be that team this year. And I think the biggest thing for them is more attention is going to keep coming in now. This is going to be a thing, and it should.
Yeah.
But I think, and I know that that's the MO of this team. They're going to keep their head down and keep working. Outside noise, because at first it was negative. Now it's positive. Now everybody's switching up. But I know that they're going to stick to it, keep their head down, and take it one game at a time and keep going where they're going. I have complete confidence in that.
You know, these are the kind of guys that they don't care if you've changed
Yeah.
and you're positive now. They remember what you had said, how you said it, and why you said it. And they're not going to care what that positive noise is now because they already are using your negative talk as fuel. And there's still some people that somehow manage to be continuing to be negative and trying to hedge their bet, about it. And I'm like, bro, just give up at this point and just admit that this is a good basketball team. If they don't do something completely uncharacteristic against the Wizards on Sunday, they're 9 games above 500.
Yeah, they're in a very good spot. Speaking of positivity, ton of positivity in the chat. A lot of you in here. 250 is the like goal for tonight. I want to get to all your super chats early. We got a lot to get into. We'll do it on PHNX Suns on the other side of our first break. Look, we all know Phoenix is one of the best sports cities in America, and it's only getting better with the Phoenix Suns. But this spring, it's about to raise the bar to a whole other level. For the first time ever, NASCAR and NTT IndyCar Series are racing during the same weekend. Of course, where do they have to do it? At Phoenix Raceway, because they can't do it anywhere else. You want the best access in motorsports? Well, guess what? You can go inside the garage, walk the track, meet the drivers, catch the pre-race concert, all by upgrading to the Desert Diamond Casino in-field experience. You can catch the 2025 Cup Series champion Kyle Larson return to the track where he won it all just a couple of months prior. It is truly one of the sporting events that you have to check out in person. Last year, we were able to go to Phoenix Raceway and drive in one of the pace cars going around.
And that was only at 100 miles an hour.
Our guy put it up to 115 for us, which he wasn't supposed to do.
Isn't that like 100 less than what they're actually going?
Yeah, and he was supposed to do that. Let me tell you, I was clenching onto the side a little bit and maybe clenching something else. NASCAR and NTT IndyCar Series, March 5th through the 8th at Phoenix Raceway. Secure your seats now at the link in our description.
You know who you don't have to clench with? Our friends at the Arizona Lottery, because excitement doesn't require that. And right now, you can play triple games that triple the fun. That's right. You can play 3 exciting triple-themed games from the Arizona Lottery, and I love scratcher tickets. I've told you about it. It is a personal thing to me, a family tie that I love, and it brought a lot of joy over the years. And right now, you can play Triple Red Sevens, one of my favorites, Triple Cash Payout and Triple Cash Payout Scratchers for the chance to win top prizes of $100,000. Who could not use $100K right now in the bank? Okay, well, I just want to make sure, we can start handing out some tickets after this. And the 777 Fast Play has a progressive jackpot starting at $30,000. So why would you not go out and pick up an Arizona Lottery scratcher ticket today? Find all 3 tickets at a retailer near you, like Circle K.
From clinching to clutching, the Phoenix Suns clutched up tonight to pick up a win over the New York Knicks, 112-107. Just an incredible night. Objectively, a fantastic basketball game. Credit to the New York Knicks, who played really well, hit a lot of big shots, hit a lot of big threes, grabbed a lot of offensive rebounds, and really pushed the Suns to their limits tonight at home. A great crowd at the Morg and a great crowd in here for the PHNX Suns postgame show. Let's read some super chats, but first we have an MVP that we need to chant for in the chat, and he just so happens to be sitting here. Espo gifting 10 memberships earlier in the show, so you're not allowed to chant. You can't chant for yourself, but we'll chant for you, okay? MVP, MVP, MVP.
So now, Erickson, you're being fined. I didn't hear you chant.
So now we've all learned if we want us to cheer for us, we just have to donate.
Look, I felt like we had to give back to the people a little bit because they have been so great to us. I thought, hey, you know what? Big win. I'm feeling generous. I don't tell the missus I spent the $50 on it, but I did just to help you all out because you deserve the MVP memberships here. Become a member of the Supporters Club by hitting that join button now, and for $5 you can unlock those great emojis, and you can also get exclusive videos. So join. Why not?
Get a prepaid super chat for every month that you are a member, including prepaid super chat from Crusader, who's been a member for 2 months, says fully clenched up for those last 3 minutes. Very ironic how that's the one that we go to here. A tough win despite the mistakes and cold shooting in the fourth, but this tells you we can win any game. That last part, the cold shooting in the fourth. I said this on our watch along. Obviously a very results-driven league. The Suns won this game, which means this is a happy show. But there was some less than ideal execution late in this game as far as contested shots early in the shot clock, not a lot of ball movement, missed free throws. The Suns still finding a way to win it is a positive, but more often than not, when you play like that in the clutch, the other team is going to find ways to take advantage of it.
You know what's crazy? I'm looking at the fourth quarter box. Outscored 21-18.
The Suns outscored the Knicks?
The Knicks outscored the Suns 21-18 in the fourth. Suns shoot 5 of 18 from the field in the fourth quarter. They got out-rebounded 20-7 in the fourth quarter. Ooh. The Knicks had 9 offensive rebounds in the fourth quarter. The Suns had 7 rebounds in the fourth quarter. And all that being said, you find a way to win.
Well, but that's going to happen in the playoffs too, though.
Yeah.
When things tighten up like that, you're going to have weird things go on, and finding those little ways is so huge.
And to that point, this is where we're almost there. We're close to the finish line. Getting Jalen Green back. Because one thing we talked about, the offense stagnated, and it was downright frustrating and even ugly to watch at times. Ball was sticking. The movement that wasn't there. Guys are a little more fatigued. Things are a little more predictable at this point in the game, and you didn't get the highest quality of shot, and that's why the efficiency lags. But you get a guy named Jalen Green back in the lineup, a guy who brings rim pressure. You can have a little more variety offensively that keeps defenses a little more on their heels, and I think that it's not easy to say, oh, this one guy just fixes everything, but he sure does add a little more to that.
He helps.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine if at the trade deadline, the Phoenix Suns could add a dynamic top 5 overall pick who can average 25 points per game, is one of the most athletic players in the league, and was the #1 scoring team on the 2nd seed in the West last year, who also had a really great defense. And the best part about it is they'd have to give up nothing for him. Could you imagine if they did that at the deadline?
Cha-ching.
Well, they can. Yeah, which, again, Jalen Green doesn't solve everything, but just the gravity and the pressure might free up in running these sets and these plays. And remember, this is a team that Jordan Knott spent an entire offseason scheming for, was with Jalen Green. You don't prepare for Jalen Green to miss the first 4 months of the season with a hamstring strain. You prepare all offseason for him to be on your team. He was the main part of the Kevin Durant trade. And really, like, with Rasheer Fleming getting minutes, it's changing a bit. But the only guy from the KD trade that's really getting legitimate minutes is Dillon Brooks, who we will talk about here in a second. I want to keep running through some super chats. Kev, with a $2 super chat, we see you, Kev, says, Suns team ball plus Valley reboot jerseys equals swaggy AF. Those Valley jerseys, Espo, and I know that, I wasn't in person seeing the ones from the 90s that a lot of people have 1-1. I think these have a contention for 1-1 jersey in franchise history.
No, I think they are 1A, 1B, those two, and at some point it could be very interchangeable for sure. And I promised on this program and on this network that I'd always be honest. And right now I'm going to be honest. I was 100% wrong about this, because when I heard they were coming back, I was like, you know what? Leave them where they were in the past, because you don't want to sully the memory of that if this isn't going to be a great season. Well, guess what? These jerseys are perfect for this team, because this team does remind you a lot of a team that, made the finals when they were barely supposed to be a playoff team in that 2021 squad. So I'm glad the Valley jerseys are back, and they are living up to the memory of that team and the hype that these jerseys brought to the Valley when they were originally here.
It really is perfect, Gil. And I mean, they look great.
Beautiful jersey, and
it's
the court
awesome
too.
Jersey.
Like it's just dope.
The court is spectacular.
Yeah, even with the City Edition script in the
Again, like I said on the watch along, a City Edition jersey that does not have the city name anywhere on it.
You know what? I'm fine with it. They're definitely gonna be wearing those in the playoffs. Who'sman with a $10 super chat says, I was at this game. First, Suns win with a crazy amount of Knicks fans there. Second, Suns won with a crazy amount of Knicks fans there. Second, can we start calling Brooks' last name to Bird? I don't know what that means.
He's like Larry Bird out there.
Yeah, he's like
I guess.
Dillon Bird.
Dillon Bird. By the way, Devin Booker tied Larry Bird all time in 30-point games tonight.
And he has 12 of them this season, for those of you that say he's not scoring enough or he sucks.
Third, huge plays by Grayson at the end. Despite a little confusion there, I think you summed it up great, Hoosman. Thank you very much. Igaya-san, celebrating 1 month of membership, says,
thank you.
Huge W. They can't ignore us now. Suns in the spotlight. My boy Grayson, cold, sitting half court front row for Wizards beat down on Sunday. There we go.
We're looking for you on the broadcast.
You also asked, are we going to do arena takeovers this year? We do have one coming up. We're going to announce the date and the game soon, so stay tuned for that.
Excited to figure out what game that is.
Yeah.
Matt also celebrates 1 month of membership. So, by the way, $5 a month for a membership, and so you get a prepaid super chat. So it's literally like getting just super chatting, but you get all this extra stuff. It's a great deal. Says Grayson called game and Valley jerseys got in Mikhail's head. Wistful at the last time he was on the great team. Legit. Mikhail did hit a massive 3 with Dillon Brooks all up in his grill.
He did. He did, and it wasn't enough.
It's good to see him making plays in a loss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to come back, sure, you can do it here in a win, but yeah, enjoy the loss.
Math to the power of Joe, the $4.99 super chat, says Grayson Allen hitting the ball out of Mikhail hands is my favorite play of the season. Beat out Book's game winner over the Thunder IMO. Was this the best game of the season for the Suns? And did they have 2 of those candidates in the last 7 days?
I don't know that it was the best game, but it was the kind of game that you look at and you go, okay, this could be a blueprint for April and May kind of basketball. So I think it may have been the most encouraging game, if that makes sense.
Culture win. What I like so much about that play, we've talked about it already, but I said this during the watch along, that entire sequence from Oso's play to Grayson's effort, bottle that up, and when you say describe the 2025-2026 Phoenix Suns, you run that play over and over and over again, and I love it.
We've talked about giving out a blue-collar boy of the year. I think you give out a blue-collar play, and that's definitely going to be in the top 2 or 3 at the end of the year.
100%. This is going to be, no matter what happens for the rest of the season, this will be one of the games that you look back on and you say, yeah, this team, man, this team really proved they were legit. I think like January, just overall, has been a great month for them. Crusader with a $5 super chat after getting their prepaid super chat before. Thank you, Crusader. Says, these Suns wins are curing me of my PTSD, my ADHD, and especially my ED. I don't need any beep brand redacted name tonight. Look, man, the Suns do play hard.
So what he's saying is he's fully aligned right now.
Absolutely fully aligned.
Hope you're wearing the gray sweatpants. That's all I'm going to say.
Vance Williams with a $5 super chat says, don't mind me. Just a sad Grizzlies fan seeing y'all celebrate who we took for granted. Thought we could replace him with fat Marcus Smart and Zaire Williams.
Well, Vance, you know what? There's room on the bandwagon. If you want to say arrivederci to your friends with the Grizzlies, you can come be a Brooks boy here with us.
Kind of fun to see a fan from another fan base come with some positivity, even though it's negative on their end, but positive
for us.
He's the SpongeBob meme where he's looking out at everybody having fun and he's trapped inside in Memphis.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Vance, but stop by anytime.
We're a Rockets win away from this being not just a perfect week for the Suns, but like a perfect week for Dillon Brooks.
Well, we're a Rockets loss away to Portland with 2 minutes and 43 seconds left from this becoming a very interesting week in the standings.
Yeah, unless they get 5, I guess it could happen. But
Lakers are losing at the end of the third. Portland is beating Houston with late in the fourth.
They're 4 with 8 seconds left. So
there's some interesting things.
Golden State did win tonight. Well, we'll talk about that a little bit more later once we see the outcomes of those games. Pissed Off Dwarf, great name. Celebrates 2 months of membership. Thank you, Pissed Off Dwarf. Says, nothing special to say, just appreciative for all the content you guys put out. It makes my hour commute so much more enjoyable. P.S. Screw the Lakers. Thank you, and you're damn right.
That never should be a P.S. That should be leading every message. Screw the Lakers, screw the Knicks, and screw the rest of the NBA.
Like, screw the Lakers. Like,
with more heart.
Screw the Lakers.
No,
now the Dodgers.
I need it like
that's what I'm saying.
I need it like the MVP chant. You got to really get into a screw the Lakers.
Screw the Lakers. Screw the Lakers.
screw the Lakers. You got to go one more time with it.
I was trying to think if I should throw the Dodgers in there or not, but screw the Dodgers too. You're ruining baseball.
Yeah,
Russell
screw
Smith.
the Nuggets while we're at it as well.
Russell Smith with a 1-month membership chat. Thank you, Russell. Also, a diehard says, book is him. Allen made the game-winning plays late. Suns not even at their full potential yet. Can't wait to see this team with Green and Bouye back. That's right, Russell. This team can compete with anyone in this league. Russell also with a $2 super chat says, an Otts coaching this year. Vibes are immaculate.
I'm going to say it again, and I know the last time I brought this up, we were not in alignment as a group. He deserves to win Coach of the Year. I do not care what anybody else is doing in this league. A team that was supposed to be 31 wins is 8 games above 500. They got 23 wins. They're 8 away from meeting that over-under number, and it's January.
And they're going to go through the first half of the season with their second-best player playing 30 minutes.
Yeah. Jordan Ott is Coach of the Year.
Yeah.
Hands down, full stop. He is Coach of the Year. And if you are not thinking that, you are not watching Suns basketball, and you're trying to find reasons for him not to be Coach of the Year. Everything he's done, the system he's put in place, the culture that he's helped bring to the Valley, he is Coach of the Year, hands down. Even if they go 500 the rest of the way, what he has done and the fact that they are this good, he's Coach of the Year.
I don't think and that's the thing is, I agreed with you in the fact that he did deserve it and he earned it, but more of like, is he going to get that nod? But I think the louder that this gets, the more likely that becomes.
I mean, what more is a coach supposed to do to be considered the best?
I agree. I agree with you.
I'm saying, I'm talking directly to voters of this. There's no other coach that has done more to put his team in a position to succeed than Jordan Ott has done in terms of scheming and in terms of his approach, the way he's calling timeouts to stem runs from other teams. I mean, Gil, when you think about good coaching, when you think about what you expect out of a coach to be considered one of the best, if not the best for a given season in the league, what more would Jordan Ott have to do?
I mean, seriously. I mean, I already talked about the fact that Jalen Green's missed a lot of time, right? But it's the fact that, getting a career year out of Dillon Brooks and bringing in guys who add a guy on two-way. Don't think he's going to have a big role right away. He's thrust into a role and put in positions to succeed. Guys are being put in different positions to succeed. Trusting guys to make plays in situations where a lot of people probably wouldn't trust them in those positions. All of those things, and for it to happen as quickly as it's happened, it's like, and it's only getting better from here, right? Like, thinking from the back, I know we talked about if they play at an 8-game below 500 pace, they'll be 41-41. If they just play at a 500 pace for the rest of the season, this team wins 45 games.
Yeah.
And I think that could be underselling it too, because I think that they're still going to find more strides and learn more. And again, as more people start to look and start paying attention, because especially when we hit this halfway mark of the season, like you said, it's no longer, oh, it's cute, the Suns are winning some games, this is cool. No, this team is legit. This team is legit. They don't take them lightly. It is what it is. Now teams aren't taking them lightly. They know what to expect, and they're still getting beat. This team is impressive. As I was saying, it starts with the coaching. It
shouldn't just be Coach of the Year. He should win Mental Health Professional of the Year in Phoenix because of all of the better thinking, the better feeling we are as Suns fans. I mean, you remember how dark last year was, just to oppose it with this. Congratulations, Jordan Ott. You have done more for our mental health than the sun shining 320 days out of the year here.
It's not just Dillon Brooks having a career year. Royce O'Neale is maybe having the most consistent year of his career, especially offensively. I know defensively he's lost a little bit athletically, but offensively he has been so much more consistent than what you imagined. Grayson has dealt with injuries, but before the injuries, Grayson was having the best year of his career. Colin Gillespie's having the best year of his career. Oso Ighodaro is improving. Like Mark Williams has had, and again, this is maybe more credit to the training staff, but he's had the healthiest season of his career so far. Like Dillon Brooks, clearly, like you mentioned before, has had the best year of his career. Like you have so many players who are playing better than they did last year, even the ones who were on this team before. And that is, of course, a big shout out to Jordan Ott, who also built his entire staff from scratch, a lot of guys that had some coaching experience and some that didn't have a lot of coaching experience. The Phoenix Suns right now, by the way, somebody in the chat said, Joe Mazzulla deserves love. And you know what? I do agree with you. Joe Mazzulla's Boston Celtics picked up a win today to move to the 2nd seed in the Eastern Conference. The Phoenix Suns are 1 game below them. They're 20, okay, maybe a couple games below, but the Boston Celtics have only won 1 more game than the Phoenix Suns this year. The Boston Celtics have won 24 games this year. The Phoenix Suns have won 23. The Phoenix Suns, if they were in the Eastern Conference, would be a top 4 seed solidified right now, and that's with playing a Western Conference record. I get that Joe Mazzulla has done a lot of great things. Jalen Brown's done some great things. The fact that they are that good is super impressive, but to do this in the Western Conference, to be 23-15 and to be the 7th seed is insane with the schedule that you've played.
Well, and I think if you were to put those 2 rosters side by side at the beginning of this year, even with the Celtics dealing with the injury to Tatum and some of the moves they made, I think you would still say that was the more talented roster.
For sure.
And he has the more experience. They've had more success. And then to me, Jordan Ott, what he's doing, nobody would have believed you. It's 3 months ago, people would have asked for you to be put in a padded room if you told them where this team is right now.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think to the point that we already said already, not only was last season bleak here, but it was a put the team in this franchise in a position that we thought it was going to take years. A lot of people thought it was going to take years to just kind of undo all the bad vibes, right? Because as good vibes are, bad vibes just kind of leave a stench. And it takes a while to kind of wipe that away. Right. And that we have kind of forgotten about that, and we aren't even at the halfway mark of the season. And we recognize and know that realistically, there are actual real ways that this team is going to get better. Not that they can get better, they are going to get better when they add that 23-year-old former top 2 pick in the draft. The best is yet to come. And also the fact that they've played just such a demanding, tough, rigorous schedule up to this point and have just exceeded by all metrics and benchmarks up to this point of the season. You really have to take a long, hard look at what he's doing and what he's done with this team and how he's getting the most out of his guys. And it's just not by accident. There's a trend there.
The stench was so bad from last year. It reminded me of when my father-in-law left a frozen turkey in the back of his car for a week when he went on vacation. And the smell that left in that, they pulled that car apart. It still has a smell a decade and a half later. And I thought that was how bad this Suns team smelled. But Jordan Ott is the greatest deodorizer in the world when it comes to turning things around.
Put that in the Coach of the Year material. The greatest deodorizer in the world.
By the way, that dead turkey would be better at coaching than Mike Budenholzer. Look, we have some more to get into on this game. We'll hear from Steven, hopefully sometime soon, and we'll continue to wrap up what was a 112-107 fantastic Suns victory on a Friday night. Hit that like button. We are nowhere near the like goal yet, which for the vibes that we have going on right now, I'm kind of shocked everybody. Hit that subscribe button as well. We'll be back talking Suns ball on the other side of this break. Look, it's a new year, it's a fresh start, and a lot of people have New Year's resolutions. And for a lot of people right now, it's the perfect time to start your own business, to be an entrepreneur. And that's why you need Shopify. Shopify gives you everything you need to sell online and in person. Millions of entrepreneurs have already made this leap, from household names to first-time business owners just getting started. In fact, Shopify powers the PHNX shop that you can get this very hat from, that very shirt from, that very hat. So it's so much amazing stuff over on the Shopify powered PHNX locker. Plus, Shopify gives you all the tools to easily build your dream store. Choose from hundreds of beautiful templates that you can customize to match your brand, to match exactly what you want your business to be. Marketing is built in to create email and social campaigns that reach customers wherever they scroll. So in 2026, stop waiting and start selling with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/allcity. Go to shopify.com/allcity. That's shopify.com/allcity. Hear your first cha-ching in the new year with Shopify by your side.
I love my family that comes to visit, but the holidays are over, so my house no longer has family visiting, which means it's time to do some of the projects that the missus and I want. And
No
I'm
dead
going to
turkeys in that house anymore.
No. Well, they weren't dead turkeys, maybe turkeys, but the Window Depot is where I'm going though, because Gil, you probably say, well, Espo, if you want to redo parts of the house, why are you going to a store called the Window Depot, right? That's because they got more than just windows. They're more than just a window store. They've got everything you need to redo a bathroom, a kitchen. You're looking at cabinets, whatever it is. They've got it. And I'm looking at redoing a bathroom, so I'm going to call my friends at the Window Depot. But the best part is they have designers that'll actually help you figure it out. And guess what that costs? It does not cost you anything to be able to do that. So I highly recommend you check out Window Depot today, because you can visit windowdepot.com and get started on your next project right now. Even though it's, 10:40 at night, you can start.
This is awesome. This is awesome. Also awesome, Hector Ocean became an MVP.
MVP.
Hector just got access to exclusive content, including extra film breakdown from Steven that he posted earlier this week on how the Phoenix Suns exploited Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Of course, you get access to exclusive emojis like the Dillon Brooks emoji, the Colin Gillespie motion emoji, and so many more. Plus, if you are an MVP for a month, you get a prepaid super chat like the ones that we have been reading out on this very show. The vibes are super, super high. But let's go from vibes to the numbers. Let's take a look at By the Numbers, presented by ourselves, because we love the numbers. The only one that matters is 112-107. The Phoenix Suns pick up a key victory. But Gil, you look at the numbers, and you don't necessarily look at a convincing, resounding win for the Suns.
Yeah, I think it goes right back to that rebounding figure. And obviously it's very much inflated by that fourth quarter in which the Suns were out-rebounded by 13, and what did you know? They were out-rebounded by 13 for the game, but I say that to say, when you think about it, to go through the first three quarters, to match the Knicks' rebounding effort through those first three quarters, I think is no small feat, because we know that that's something that the Knicks want to do, especially Mitchell Robinson and Karl-Anthony Towns. They make it difficult. We were saying that before the game, and we saw it in real time. What happens when you're in help side? And Mark Williams is great in help side, but it's really hard when you have a small lineup and there are guys who their man has left. It's kind of free reign for them to get to the glass. So the fact that the Suns were able to withstand that and also have their rebounding, because if you just look through the first three quarters, Dillon Brooks rebounded the ball well. Royce O'Neale got involved. Mark got involved on the glass. Jordan Goodwin got involved on the glass, as did Ryan Dunn. So it's a team effort. Gang rebounding is a term you hear a lot in basketball from coaches especially, and the Suns do that, and they did it well for the first three quarters. The Knicks rebounding in the fourth was more of desperation than anything.
You know what's crazy to me, though, is that whole rebounding numbers, the offensive rebounds you give up, you still had more shots than they did, which is crazy to think about with that. Yeah, you don't see that often.
Yeah, both teams shot really well from three, 38.1% for the Suns at 16 of 42, especially with the defense that was being played tonight. I think that's a good percentage. And the Knicks, 16 of 41, that's 39%.
83 threes.
Yeah, that's a lot of threes. And again, there was a point where it just felt like these teams were trading three after three after three. You did get to the line a couple more times. You hit three more than them, shot 87% from the line tonight. Obviously, two of those misses coming late from Oso. So other than that, you only missed one other free throw the entire game. The Suns might have been out-rebounded in that fourth quarter, but they did grab, I think, at least one clutch offensive rebound there. That was really big, and they moved the ball better, 23 assists to 22. Overall, another game that the Phoenix Suns just found a way to pull out a victory, and I know we're all impressed, and I feel like there's so much we haven't even talked about specifically with this game yet. Like, we haven't talked about Dillon Brooks.
I've got one other number I want to discuss.
Go ahead.
These likes.
Yeah.
Come on, you're only at 100. There's over 350 of you people in here. Hit that like button. As Sean says, don't make Don Espo come out, get in his bag, and run those likes up, all right? Get it going now. Hit that like button.
I do want to say, point out one more number, because Espo, you talked about the Suns getting more shots. Suns only turned the ball over 10 times for the entire game. Knicks, 18. You turn the Knicks over 18 times. You're creating extra possessions for yourself. And that's how you beat good teams. And they were making the Knicks uncomfortable. You talked about the defensive effort that both teams put forth, but the Suns kind of resulted in those turnovers. Even from early on in the game, those turnovers that they had led to 22 points as well. So that's great to see. 23 assists to 10 turnovers as the Suns is a great ratio too.
Here's a number for you, 27. That's how many points Dillon Brooks scored tonight. An efficient night from Dillon Brooks.
He had
8
more
of
than his
15.
alma mater football.
Yeah, he did.
Yikes.
A lot more. 8 of 15 from the field, 5 of 9 from deep, 6 of 6 from the line. He took 21 total shots tonight, including free throws, and he missed 7 of them. That's really good percentage for a guy like Dillon Brooks against a very good Knicks defense who have defenders that match up well with him. And he took some audacious shots, including a 3 over Mitchell Robinson where he did the smoking celly afterwards. That was awesome. And yeah, 12 combined rebounds and assists from him might be a season high. He is not somebody who goes out there and crashes the glass often and picks up a lot of assists. That's really great from him. Only 2 turnovers, only 4 personal fouls, and a team high plus 13 tonight. This was the quintessential Dillon Brooks experience that we have come to love from him. Tough shots, tough floaters, post moves, difficult threes, clutch plays on defense. Yeah, Mikal Bridges hit that shot over him, but that was about as difficult as a 3 you're going to see in the NBA this season.
And he didn't foul him. Like
Royce O'Neale fouled OG Anunoby late, and Royce had a good game tonight. But Dillon Brooks is an all-star. I mean, the Suns don't just have one all-star. They have 2 all-stars, in my opinion. Dillon Brooks is actually making a case legitimately as one of the best two-way players in the league because I still believe he's the Suns' best defensive player. And right now, he's either the Suns' second best or best offensive player on every single night. This is not a fluke. This is consistent. This is real. This is who Dillon Brooks is in 2026. And it's awesome for Suns fans.
Before I get into tonight's performance, you remember the last time, the only other time the Suns wore the Valley jerseys this season?
The Pacers game.
Dillon Brooks had 32 points on 12 of 18 shooting that game. So he's averaging 29.5 points in his Valley jersey.
So what you're saying is just wear the damn Valley jersey.
And we're going to see a lot of it in January. So we're going to see a lot more of this from Dillon Brooks in the month of January. But seriously, tonight's performance, again, he was a steadying force. I think that was the most impressive thing because you've seen the Knicks play. You've seen Jalen Brunson play. You know that this team is a frustrating team to have to guard defensively and avoid getting called for fouls. And I saw that Dillon Brooks' frustration got to him a little bit at the end of the first half, but that didn't impact the way that he played. He
Still
was
wondering what that was.
we have no idea what happened.
I think he just picked up a foul.
And yeah,
that,
I think, and you know, but to say all of that and to say that what he's done, and again, like he was coming off of another big performance in Memphis against his old team, been an emotionally charged week for him, right? Like, you know, he goes against a bunch of his countrymen on Sunday, plays against Shea and Lou Dort, and they had a little bit of stuff going on. Then he goes to play his former team on Monday. Then he goes to play his former team on Wednesday, and Friday for him to have this performance that he had is just really a reminder of the evolution. And again, similar to actually exactly like this team. Everybody has been waiting for Dillon Brooks to quote unquote come back to earth. No, this is Dillon Brooks.
Mm-hmm.
This is who Dillon Brooks is. This is who he is as a player. And finally, like our sad Grizzlies fan who joined us tonight, it's just him being unleashed and believed in to be that player is paying dividends for the Suns.
Let's be honest, like this player wasn't there before, and I think he'll even admit that. Like he said he put a lot of work in over the summer. Mm-hmm. Now, sure, his other spots could have believed in him more than they did in Memphis and in Houston, and not written him off or told him we're not going to bring you back under any circumstances. Of course, that could happen, but look, I don't think a lot of this stuff was in Dillon Brooks' bag to the point where even if he was, you know, believed in that he was going to go out there hitting this, it's a huge testament to him. And look, a lot of guys get better on offense and then they start sucking on defense. I'm not comparing these two players, but I think an apt example of that is Jalen Johnson in Atlanta has taken a superstar leap on the offensive side of the ball this year, and he has taken a pretty significant step back on the defensive side of the ball. Dillon Brooks, maybe a couple plays tonight where he was sleeping, but to be honest, the Suns had a lot of those in the first half collectively as a team. Overall, still one of the best, if not the best defenders on this team. Real quick on the Valley jersey side of things, Ace Boogie with a 99-cent super chat and then follows up with a regular chat that says, hashtag rally the Valley, bring back the Valley jersey, please. Well, they did, just not permanently, but I got a feeling with the popularity of these, if the league allows it, because they've got some stupid rules.
Nike rules.
The Suns are going to do whatever they can to keep this jersey around. And they're going to do whatever they can to keep Dillon Brooks around.
Yeah.
And keep a lot of these guys around. I don't know if they make a move at the deadline. Let's take a look at a couple other guys here before we hear from Jordan Ott, and then Steven joins us in a bit. Royce O'Neale, 12 points tonight, 4 of 6 from deep. Mark Williams, a quiet 10 and 5, but I think played some really impactful defense, having 2 blocks for him tonight. Jordan Goodwin didn't shoot well from the field. In fact, 0 of 7 from deep, but did grab 6 rebounds, 3 of them offensive rebounds. And Oso Ighodaro played really good minutes at the end of the game, but finished with 0 points, 0 rebounds, 3 assists, and a steal. Which one of those performances do you guys want to talk about tonight?
I'm open to whatever you guys want. I'm feeling so good. I'll talk about any of them.
I mean, let's start with Jordan Goodwin because there was the shooting and the layup. But
oh my God,
which we won't discuss anymore.
Yeah,
but besides that, like thinking about a guy like that being impactful, right? Like a guy who comes off the bench and to be 0-7 from 3. But I'm not mad at that because I like the confidence. Like he's going to keep shooting, and that's how he was able to make 8 of 13 in that stretch that he had because he's still doing it. And I think that it's again the coach empowering you, your teammates believing in you. Hey, the next one's going through. The next one's going through, and it might not tonight, but opposing defenses are still going to be like, well, this guy might miss his first 5 threes. I still got to at least like threaten to close out because if he makes a 6th one, that's on me. And I think that is something when we talk about these pieces that you're contributing to making a offense complete. If there's one guy who you just don't have to worry about, then an offense can't be complete. But if he's still going to do that, that's such an underrated thing for him to keep that confidence because it means something for him, but it also means something for the team as a whole. And obviously, what he does as a rebounder, what he does defensively is a lot too.
I might be in the minority. I was a little disappointed in Mark. I continue to be a little disappointed in his aggressiveness.
Something's off.
Something doesn't feel
yeah,
right.
It's also a tough matchup for him as well. Mitchell Robinson and Karl-Anthony Towns.
I get it, but
we've been through a long stretch of it's a tough matchup for Mark Williams.
Yeah, well, and there were moments where I don't care who it is. He could have gone up stronger with it and didn't necessarily. I appreciate his aggressiveness on the defensive end, but I also wonder if that's part of why he was not in there at the end because that aggressiveness was costing them on the offensive boards and a couple other places. Like it was not the greatest of games for Mark for sure.
I think Kara makes a good point, kind of what I was thinking here. Says he's not used to playing this many games.
That's fair.
We talk about the rookie wall a lot, but for Mark Williams, I mean, he has been, and again, knock on wood, touch metal, whatever you want to do, he's been very healthy this year. Now, he hasn't had a really increased minutes load, but I do think it's interesting that you get a couple months into the season and he starts to kind of, hit this little bit of a wall. I also do think that these have been some tough matchups for him, but we'll see. I have faith that he'll still find a way to break out of it. I think defensively, he played a good game tonight. A block, finished that lob on the other end. He continues to bring the energy and effort, so the baseline is there. Plus, recently, Oso's been playing really well, so that's also helped. I'll speak about Royce O'Neale a little bit. 4 of 6 from deep and just making all of the right plays. Only 6 rebounds tonight, 0 turnovers, an assist, and a block, +5. He is playing good enough defense. He is hitting a vast majority of his threes. He's one of the best shooters in the NBA. I guess not a vast majority because that'd be like 60%, but he's hitting a lot more threes than he has been consistently before. And he's been just a really good connective player, and that confidence has paid off. Coach Ott talked about Royce O'Neale's impact and how he played off of Devin Booker's attention.
Not sure how you get all your research, but it's impressive that it's a little bit matchup based. And then also we like Royce at the top of the floor. So moving him to the top of the floor really means it just creates more gravity, more space for us when he does catch it. At times, teams put matchups on him that they don't want to switch on the book. And then we want to involve Royce. He's a great screener. He's very physical. He understands the nuances. Is his man trying to stay with him? Usually it's with some type of hedge. And then he's able to get out. And then he's on the top of the floor and shoots it so well. Big shots by him again. All comes down to your superstar making the right play. Book's ability to continue to make the right play in every single situation really kind of the stir that straws our drink offensively. Like he just does it game after game after game. His ability to pass, make the right play.
I didn't hear the bad.
Yeah, Royce O'Neale continues to make all the right plays, but playing off of the superstar.
Well, and that's the thing that again, gravity. I hate sounding like a broken record with it, but that's what has helped Royce O'Neale be better. But even when that shot isn't necessarily falling, he's going out there, he's grabbing the rebounds, he's doing the little things, and he's a great teammate too.
Yeah.
Like that's a big thing as well. And so night in, night out, this is why the trade talk is really tough, because there's one of two guys you'd move if you're trying to make any significant move. It'd be Royce or it'd be Grayson, because you're not moving Jalen. I mean, that's pretty clear, at least at the moment. So, and everything that he does, the intangibles that he brings, I'm not sure you want to remove that from the equation, because Royce has been so instrumental in so much of it, even though he's not necessarily filling the scoring column every night.
You real Espo, you're the one that behind the gravity metric on NBA.
Yeah, you're the one tracking.
You said it a lot. You might be the one that's tracking.
I also wrote John Mayer's Gravity song. I discovered it as well. Right? So
I mean, Apple just fell on your head.
exactly.
I'm kind of getting to the point where the only two names that I'd be willing to trade, and again, I have nothing against these guys personally, are Nick Richards and Nigel Hayes-Davis. I'm not moving Kaman, and I'm not moving Rasheer. Okay, I'm not moving Dillon Brooks. I'm not moving Devin Booker. I'm not moving Jalen Green. I'm not trading Colin Gillespie. You're not going to be able to get that value back for him. I'm not trading Grayson Allen unless a team comes to me with a massive like trade package that you can't deny. I don't think I trade Royce O'Neale at this point. Again, it's the same thing where he makes like $10 million a year. Him and Nick Richards is like $15 million. You can get a valuable player with that, but are they going to be more valuable than what Royce O'Neale brought you? And look, at the end of the day, if something gets exposed in the playoffs, then something got exposed in the playoffs, which means that this team made the playoffs, which means that this team has overachieved, which means that this team has been playing with found money. And Royce still has years after this. Grayson has years after this. You have the rookies. You aren't pressed to do anything right now. There is zero urgency for the Suns to make a move because, again, they're adding a 25-point-per-game athletic guy who hasn't even turned 25 yet at the trade deadline, and they're not trading anybody for him.
Yeah, I get it. It's just January. Oh, well, you're not a champion. I don't care about
January's legit. Like, we are deep in the season. It is 2026.
I do not care about any of that, right? Like
halfway, basically.
I'm at the point where let's just see what happens.
Yeah.
Let's just see. I mean, if somebody comes to you and they want to do stupid things, maybe you listen, right? But I'm not actively shopping anything in particular right now, especially not Royce with what he's been able to do for this team. And Grayson, you saw tonight how important, even when he's not shooting well, he can be to this team.
Well, Jordan Ott spoke about that play, that play from Grayson Allen late.
That's how it goes. Some nights it's just not your night, but the ability to move on, move to the next play, make winning plays, and after that make the free throws. Says a lot about who he is as a competitive person. We need everyone. Tonight, down the stretch, Grayson really helped us.
How can you be a coach and not love when your player does something like that? I mean, again, it's Devin Booker talked about it post-game about how that's going to be the play that opens up or ends their film session, about that's what everybody does. Everybody does their job. And again, we bring it back to Devin Booker, who also spoke after the game on his growth in late-game thinking and decision-making.
Yeah, it's just experience. I think the game has slowed down for me a little bit each year. Being a young player in the league and getting the ball thrown into my hands and getting to learn through mistakes. So, not trying to make those mistakes again, take care of the ball and make sure we get a shot on rim. The turnover is the worst thing that we want in that situation.
It's not just a couple of games ago where Jordan Ott called Devin Booker the best game manager that he's ever played with. And Gil, at not even 30 years old, Devin Booker has played a lot of NBA basketball in year 11. All that mentally, you can see him really, really growing into.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, you can see him pick up bits and pieces of people he's played with, whether it's moves, whether it's just mentality. We talked about it earlier. He did like a Chris Paul move in the first half. But that answer that he gave just now about his comfort and growing and seeing more things and circumstances and situations and the game slowing down for him is a great add-on. It'd be good to couple it with the answer he gave a couple games ago about another clutch win. It might have been Sunday. He's like, hey, we're going to see stuff like this in the playoffs. He didn't even say if we make – he said when we get to the postseason, we're going to see stuff like this. And we said it already. We probably said it 20 times that tonight felt like a playoff game. And, I mean, I think back to knowing that Book is the guy who you count on to carry you and deliver you home, but also probably going to be Brooks on the court with him. Maybe great. A lot of parts around them are going to be interchangeable in those moments, but it just reminds you how invaluable it was that even though we were a little worried about Oso being in there, I said it. Hey, he's growing up in real time. And we saw him actually grow up in real time. We've seen Colin grow up in real time. And the same way that obviously at a much, much higher level because he is a superstar in this league, but the same way that it's slowed down for Book in those situations, it's going to happen for Oso. It's going to happen for Colin. Guys who haven't necessarily been in those positions in earlier stages of their career, getting these reps throughout the course of the regular season is exactly why there are 82 games this regular season, to where you get to the play-in tournament, hopefully not, maybe even the first round series, and you're in this position. Everybody will have seen it before, and they'll know what to do, and it will have slowed down for them.
I think the other beautiful thing, too, is that Devin Booker, while the game's slowing down, has also learned to trust his teammates. Yeah. And in a situation like this, he knows he's been able to trust those guys because they have come up big in those situations. So when he is double teamed and blitzed, he knows he can trust the system to find the guy in the right spot, and that guy's going to make the right play.
Yeah, a clip we don't have from Devin Booker, but post-game he said we got to give Oso props, just talking about his defensive impact and what he was able to do tonight. Dillon Brooks was also able to speak on Oso Ighodaro after the game and just his growth as a player.
He's fast, he's athletic, can play multiple and guard multiple positions, and he does unique things that some big men don't have, is which, you know, he does like the little things on the offensive end and on the defensive end. You know, he sprints up into screens, he sets good screens in the right places when you gotta drop it off. And on the defensive end, you can switch with him, he can guard multiple positions, he rebounds out of his height and his weight against other guys. So he's like back in the day they called him a tweener. That's what they used to call me. He's like a tweener in that aspect, because then you can, put bigs on their heels on offensive end. He's got a lot of tools that he can tap into. It's just, he's willing to listen and willing to work, and you see it coming out.
Did you have a sorry?
Now, look, not the most impressive statistical performance from Oso Ighodaro in 23 minutes. Like I said, 0 points, 0 rebounds, 0 blocks, had 3 assists and a steal, 5 fouls. How did you feel about watching Oso's game tonight, though? Because I think those are two very different experiences.
Well, first off, does Dillon have a class to teach at Villain School this evening? But with Oso, I said it down the stretch. I felt like there was a reason that Ott saw that he was keeping him in there, and in that final play, or not the final, but the play with Jalen Brunson, I think that was exactly why, because they knew he could handle a switch situation in that, and those were the little things. Sure, there were the fouls. He didn't score, but he had that amazing pass was it Rasheer, when Rasheer crashed down?
Nice little dump off there. Another bounce pass to a back-cutting Ryan Dunn. That was impressive.
It's smart. He's in the right place, the right time, and those are the kind of things that you can trust him in. And it's a nuanced thing. If you're just a box score watcher, you're going to be like, what the hell does this guy do for you? But when you watch the game with a discerning eye, you go, that's what this guy does for you.
Yeah, I think it says a lot that the best 2 performers for the game, the best 2 players you've had on this team all season, on a night where statistically Oso was not impressive, had so many glowing things to say about him. That says so much about, one, what we're seeing, but also what they're noticing and feeling by being on the court with him in those moments, and the comfort that they're feeling being on the court with him, the trust that they have in him, and that goes from them, and that is throughout the team as well, because you're not trusting him to be in, again, a really high leverage, tough situation that forced him to grow up in real time. And that says so much, and I think that will do wonders for his confidence, because the number stuff is going to come. That'll come and go. He is, not one of the top options scoring wise on this team,
And
but
never will be.
It never will be.
But he's also done it this. Like he's
And
had
done it.
good
He's also
had
done
really
it.
good statistical games. And again, like when you watch him, is he perfect? No. Does he make mistakes? Yes. Was I asking for Mark Williams to close the game? Like, yeah, I was. And I do think that there was a reason why he kept him out there, but I also think there would have been a reason to put Mark in there as well. It's a vote of confidence from Jordan I. And we've seen that confidence pay off in spades by the fact that he is being so aggressive and he is using his gravity a little bit more and the unique skill set that he has, and his teammates recognize it. Look, you mentioned it's very different to box score watch versus watch the game, and I think that is a perfect transition to bring in our guy live from the morgue, Stephen Prejean Gardner. Get away, box score. Shoo. It's real ball knower hours here with Stephen Prejean Gardner. Stephen, I've worked on this question quite a bit. I've been workshopping it in my head, and I'm really looking forward to your answer, so I don't want you to disappoint. Stephen, the Phoenix Suns.
Yes. Absolutely.
Wow.
You nailed it. I mean,
That's the right answer.
But Stephen, a 112-107 victory, man. What a game. What a playoff-like win for this team.
Yeah, definitely had one of those late season type of vibes to it for sure. It's a team that continues to meet resistance, meet adversity with its own force, its own punch, and they're going to get another win against a team that's at the top of the other conference as like a knock on the door before they head east after Sunday to go up against a nice slate of teams. Like I think it's a 5 or 6 game road trip on that to come. So nice little, hey, here we come, guys, get ready for us type of moment for the Suns. And I'm looking forward to all the challenges that will present. But specific to tonight's game, I think they answered a lot of the challenges that the Knicks posed and presented over the course of that game. And they got the win largely because they were able to control their controllables more than the Knicks did.
They didn't hit the SPG threshold of 26 assists tonight, but they still managed to get the win and find ways to do it. What made up for you're not getting those additional assists, but offensively, how did they make it work?
Yeah, when games kind of slow down, this is one of the areas that they're growing in as a team, and I think they get a significant boost once Jalen Green is back in the rotation, but teams kind of doing little things to slow them down and not being a team that, oh my God, we have to slow down. Now we can't run our offense. Okay, bet. You want to slow us down? We have a layer to our offense as well. We got our green light offense where we're playing off of stops, our yellow light where we're in our flow, and our red light when you want to slow us down, and we're still comfortable with that layer too. They threw Mitchell Robinson on Dillon Brooks late in today's game. That's not something we've seen any other team do. Obviously, part of it is because they were playing their double big lineup, but the other part is Mitchell Robinson can guard guys in space, so they cross-matched him onto Dillon, and that slowed their offense down a little bit because some of the things they wanted to run, cats on the big, that's a little different than if it's Mitchell Robinson that you're going at if you're Devin Booker. So put a little bit of a wrench in their process, but then Devin, after a possession or two, kind of got back to manipulating the game. We see him go and get the Mitchell Robinson switch, hit him for a bump fade in the midi, and then the next possession he comes down, ends up getting a switch with Mitch Robinson. They send a double. He hits Royce, and Royce pump fakes the pass and then knocks down that three. It's those little things like that, starting with the temperament of their best player to where you might get us for 1 or 2 possessions, but that's not going to be something that we can't solve relatively quickly and then make you pay for.
Defensively, I know we talked a lot about what they did offensively and how it stagnated a little bit in the fourth quarter, but we talked about the challenges the Knicks present, and that's the offensive glass, and they found a way to break through with that. But other than that, they had to work a lot for what they got. What was impressive to you about the Suns' defensive game plan and process and how they executed it tonight?
That ball pressure, man. They heat the ball up in ways that only maybe 2 other teams can equate to, if not be just in that same hemisphere as the Suns, because the Suns can do it with, it's not just 1 or 2 guys that are tasked with that. We've seen Devin Booker pick up the ball 94 feet. Obviously, we've seen Dillon Brooks do it. Jordan Goodwin. Royce O'Neale's done it at times. Colin Gillespie's done it plenty. Ryan Dunn's done it plenty. Like, there's just so many layers to the Suns' offense to where, or defense rather, to where regardless of the lineups, they're able to kind of maintain that. And to that point, Jordan Goodwin, man, I feel like we're talking about him as if he's the big, bright, shining star or What was it, Eric, that you called him?
Our big, bright, shining dude, collar boy of the night.
Yeah, the remix to it. Yeah, it's like he's that dude every night because he comes up with these timely moments. He had that sequence against Tyler Kolek where he's picking him up full court, not fouling, just chesting up, hitting him with his chest. That's not a foul. And Kolek ends up losing the ball, ends up turning into a steal the next pass after that, and then the Suns end up getting points. Those moments matter, and they kind of build up. Jordan Goodwin also had moments with Jalen Brunson kind of guarding him the full length of the floor too. So being able to control the tempo that an opponent is playing at so frequently because of your ball pressure, and then being able to ramp up the activity around that in process and then kind of systematically, they're just really, really, really sharp with that. They've been the best defense in the league in the new year, so it's no surprise, and it's largely because of that.
Steven, is Devin Booker an all-star?
Is water wet?
Huh?
Thank you.
Actually, it's wet like Book.
You know, that was a very youthful answer from you, Esco. I'm impressed. I'm impressed, Unc. I'm impressed. I see you.
It's not often you see Steven impressed by a Drake bar drop.
Not often. That's probably the only time.
By the way, speaking of Book, a super chat here that we have from Riddle with a 499 super chat says, Book stared at his hand after that clean three. That look said it all. Quote, I'm back. It was nice to see Book go 4 of 6 from deep. Is this it? Has he finally broken through the cold streak? Do you feel like a game like tonight can carry over for him?
I mean, it's his most threes made since Halloween. Just let that kind of settle on your mind for a minute.
4.
Since Halloween, yes. So, I mean, I don't want to speak too soon, but he was taking shots in a rhythm that we really haven't seen him take. One of those pull-up threes that he hit off of the screen got an under. He was like at close to Eric Gordon range in terms of the 4-point line, and he pulled it with great confidence and great rhythm. I think that's a telltale. I want to speak cautiously because I don't want to speak too soon on it, but it feels like he's turned the corner over the last couple of games with the confidence of finding those pockets to let it fly and then knocking them down and seeing those results on the investment that he's putting into it. So I want to say yes, but stay tuned.
With your discerning eye, and we had questions about it during the watch along, but Oso Ighodaro staying in down the stretch rather than going back to Mark Williams. What was your read on that strategically and why they went with it?
Yeah, for me, Mark Williams is a really good switcher. Better than I thought he was, better than I'm sure most other people did as well. The difference is Oso is a sensational, like 90, 95th, 96th percentile switcher in the league. And I think we saw it on a couple of the possessions where he got switched on to Jalen Brunson. And like we talked about last week when they went up and won against Sacramento, it's not just switching with Oso, switching and impacting the basketball, forcing someone to terminate their dribble, speeding up their clock, forcing them to make a rush decision downhill, which leads to a turnover. He's really good with those things. He's also good with just impacting it to contain and contest. And I feel like we saw that more than anything, just him keeping it simple, getting up a good contest, and then allowing for the rest of their defense to do what they need to do. But as we continue to speak on to the switches with Oso, I want to continue to give flowers to Jordan Goodwin for his ability to be the person that's often switching with Oso and going and guarding Oso's man, who's often a big man, boxing him out, helping his teammates get that rebound afterwards.
I want to talk a little bit about Ryan Dunn's game tonight because we haven't really gotten to him yet. Not the craziest statistical line, but not a bad game by any means. 7 points, 3 of 3 from the field, hit shot from deep, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and a steal. But overwhelmingly, a lot of the talk in the chat is negative about what the Suns got from Ryan Dunn tonight. How impactful of a player is he still at this point in his career where he's not starting and he's not putting up flashy numbers?
I rebut with defense matters. And it matters, and it matters, and it matters. Might not always be steals or deflections or blocks. Can you be where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there? Not just on the ball, but when someone needs some support on the basketball, when you're guarding someone like Jalen Brunson. Those things matter. and then being able to fill in gaps on offense. Obviously, his three ball isn't falling with consistency right now. It happens sometimes. That's part of skill development. There's highs, there's lows, and there's in between there. He's at a low right now, but he's not allowing for it to impact his game. The one possession that I didn't like from him was where he got the ball on the wing. I think it was like a semi-transition break, not an outright fast break. He hesitated to shoot and ended up driving. He ended up traveling. That was a turnover at a kind of costly time. I want him to stay confident with whatever decision he is making. Outside of that, this is part of the growth. This is a second-year player who doesn't have a super skill on the offensive side that is trying to figure it out, but he's not allowing for not having that part of his game figured out yet to impact what is his superpower, which is the ability to kind of find ways to have impact on defense.
We heard the clips that you sent back from the arena, but was there anything that you heard from Coach Devin or Dillon that stood out outside of what you were able to send along?
Yeah, I asked Dillon Brooks about when they went to putting Mitchell Robinson on him in the kind of middle to late fourth quarter stretch. And Dillon said, yeah, he gave a little bit of a hat tip to Mike Brown, said that was a good call. It's not something they've really seen quite yet. And then he said he has to make quicker decisions. There was a couple of times he felt like he could have caught it and just kind of ripped and drove on the big immediately, keeping pressure on him. But he said, which I kind of mentioned too, they quickly kind of rerouted, figured out what it was they were doing, and were able to get to the shots that they wanted to take. So I think that's what it's all about. More teams are going to try that for sure. Miami might be a team that tries that with Bam Adebayo and Kelly Oubre because both of those guys can do some similar things to Mitchell Robinson and Karl-Anthony Towns defensively. But this is the Suns kind of being met with some resistance from other teams. Teams are seeing that they operate well in the clutch. They're now 10-7 in those games. I think they had 2 clutch wins this past week. They went 2-1 in the clutch in particular. So teams are trying to get, as they're gathering data, trying to figure out what kind of buttons they can press against the Suns. Them having an immediate response says a lot about the preparedness from the staff, but also the kind of temperament that the team is working with right now as well.
You mentioned 10-7 record in the clutch, and I think we all can admit that there were some things that could have been better down the stretch, but all that being said, they came out with a win. What would you like to see more of, or how do you gauge their performance down the stretch in this game, even the fourth quarter as a whole when the offense stagnated a little bit?
Yeah, I think they have a special outlet, a special asset that other teams don't. And that's that they can always lean into their defense. And they can do it across multiple lineups, like Jordan Goodwin closing games against Oklahoma City, not just because he's knocking down 8 threes, but also because he's locking up the basketball and he's able to go and guard fives and do so impactfully. He's not in the closing lineups tonight. Oso Ighodaro's in there, and he's doing it in his own way, but in a way that's impactful, similar to what Jordan Goodwin was providing defensively in that game against Oklahoma City. And I think their ability to just kind of connect the dots. We have a team they're going up against that has a specific skill set of guys. Do we have something that can kind of throw their rhythm off just enough and create that scoreboard separation to win? Even if you do it by 1 point, the dub is a dub. And the teams that consistently find those kind of gaps to connect the dots and get it across the finish line says a lot about the figuring out process. This is why this portion of the schedule is so fun, because teams are figuring out what their identity is, what pieces they need to add, and then other teams are playing catch-up. The Suns last year were a team that were playing catch-up outside of those first, 10 or 11 games. This Suns team this season, after the first 4 or 5, have been ahead of the curve, and teams are trying to catch up to them. And we saw that in multiple instances with a team that's experienced and has been together for a while in the Knicks tonight.
Steven, last one before we get your final thoughts on this game. How have you taken away from Rasheer Fleming's minutes? Are you liking what you're seeing from the rookie in his short stints?
Yes, I am. It doesn't feel like it's too much. And he's only playing about 5-minute stretches right now. But in those 5 minutes, he's finding impact. The help decisions he's continuing to make defensively really stand out to me. I feel like that's where I've seen a majority of his potential surface as far as what's his most league-ready skill. That ability to read things on defense and kind of make decisions that others can't because of his athleticism and that skill that he possesses in terms of reading the game. He's really good with those. What's also quickly growing is that he's understanding how teams are guarding him, which they aren't, and how he can leverage that into an advantage by simply cutting, but not just kind of following his man once he's left with a specific timing of what's going on the primary side that allows for him to kind of leverage that attention that he's not getting into an advantage and finishing in the paint and around the rim like he showed the last couple of games. I think those things matter. And he's also not lost on the defensive end as well. I think that's the most important part more than anything else.
112 to 107. Any final questions for Steven?
For the whole group here, with the Lakers and Houston loss, do you realize right now the Suns sit 2 games back of the 3rd seed? They're a game back of the Lakers in the 5th seed and a half a game back of Houston in the 6th seed.
Well, Denver lost tonight too.
Yeah,
Denver lost to Atlanta.
So, yeah, that's why you're 2 games back of the 3 seed in Denver. So,
and you just picked up a win over OKC too. The Suns are in a great position. We are having fun here. We will be obviously covering that Wizards game on Sunday. Should all things considered with how this team has been playing and how they played them recently, that should be a win. Steven, before we let you go, do you have any final thoughts on tonight, which was maybe the most playoff-like win for the Suns all season?
Just to not get kind of lost in the shuffle with the way that the season is going and looking forward to Jalen coming back and what trade this team might make. Don't get lost in kind of appreciating the journey for the Suns, the process for them. Nothing's been easy. They have to go get a win against the team that's ranked 2nd in the East without their 2nd best player and with other players on not necessarily minute restrictions, but they're only at a minutes cap based off of, where they are with their injury recovery and things like that. That's not easy. Like, this is a first-year team. Don't forget that part, too. A first-year team that doesn't have that many returning players from last season. Like, that's a lot of adversity to be working up against. And you got a juggernaut that was just a few minutes away from going to the finals last season over there in the Knicks. Like, this Suns team is serious, and I think it starts again with the defense. They take things off the table from opponents, and I think that part is as important as anything, and they continue to lean into that side, allowing for it to springboard them into their offense.
Steven, thank you so much for taking your time to join us for your post-mortem from the Morg. Of course, you can follow Steven at StevenPG3. That is Steven with a PH. He dropped a film breakdown earlier this week on how the Phoenix Suns exploited Shai Gilgeous-Alexander on the defensive side of the ball in that first clutch victory of the last 3 clutch games that they've played. And of course, if you are a member, like the 10 members who are added tonight because Espo gave 10 memberships, or of course a couple more who have added under their own rights, look, you get access to that and all the other film breakdowns. By the way, Jalen Green film breakdown still sitting there on our YouTube channel, still absolutely evergreen as we get closer to the biggest trade deadline acquisition in the league, not even being a trade deadline acquisition. Steven, thank you so much.
Wait. Espo added 10 members.
We gave him his MVP, champ.
I gifted him. Yeah.
Okay. All right, that was an accountability check. You answered what I was getting ready to ask.
Yeah,
Eric, we all good. Cool.
He gifted it. We chanted for him. We didn't let him do it. We did it. Ayrton didn't. I want that on the record. Ayrton didn't do it. MVP.
There we go.
I am not.
I have to gift 10 again.
It's the people in the chat, our diehards in the chat, that are the MVPs. It's you that drags your ass out there to the arena and the practice facility. It's Ayrton who sweats behind the Mac. It's Eric for doing everything that he does on mic. It's Gil for just bringing those sultry, dulcet tones every show and the experience. It's all you guys. I am nothing but a servant for each and every one of you.
That was real sentimental.
Yeah, that was real sentimental. We're gonna cry here on the PHNX Suns postgame show.
Well, then I'm gonna go a little sarcastic. I'm pretty sure "Relax, Resell It" is Nashi's burner because they keep talking to each other about how bad Oso is, and I'm pretty sure it's his burner. That's all I'm gonna say.
Look, the vibes are fantastic over here. Thank you so much, Steven. We will talk to you and see you on Sunday.
I appreciate y'all, boys.
Bye, Steven. Okay, Espo, I want to dive in a little bit more into what you said before we get out of here. I know it's been a long show, but we're going to keep it rolling.
I praised you? Is that what you want to
say? Yeah. Let's get into that a little bit. So, results tonight. So, the Atlanta Hawks absolutely demolished the Denver Nuggets, who honestly have been playing okay since losing Nikola Jokic. They picked up some wins. But tonight, you can't stop the Trae Youngless Hawks, right? OKC picks up a win, so Memphis, who's in the play-in spot, obviously not catching OKC, but Memphis loses. The Clippers pick up a win. They get a little bit closer to the play-in. And then you look at Portland and Milwaukee picking up wins over the Houston Rockets and the Milwaukee Bucks. Golden State did pick up a win tonight, by the way. But you look at the teams ahead at this point for the Suns, not behind. The Lakers lost their first clutch game of the season. They had not lost a clutch game, despite, by the way, playing one of the least amount of clutch minutes in the NBA. Yeah. Who knows how that happens?
And Luka fouled a guy on a 3 and fouled out of the game at the end.
I think it was LeBron turnover.
So
they put it away off of that.
Out of the top 8 seeds in the Western Conference, every single team has at least a +2 point differential on the season, except for one team, which is the Los Angeles Lakers, the 5th seed in the Western Conference, 1 game ahead of the Phoenix Suns. Not only do they not have a +2, they don't have a plus. They're at a -0.3 on the season.
Let me say what our friend Johnny Venerable over on PHNX Cardinals likes to say. They are fraudulent. The Lakers are frauds right now, and the Phoenix Suns already are leading the season series against them and are knocking on the door of overtaking them in the West.
Yeah, they are. And again, if you look at Houston as well, who they're very close to overtaking, Coach Ime Udoka, after the game tonight and the loss to the Portland Trailblazers, hey, stop me if you've heard this one before, says, and I quote, "The fact that we have to rely on a 37-year-old for 40-plus minutes is a problem."
That said 1,000 words right there.
You had a 23-year-old you could rely on before that.
And I think Dillon Brooks is 27, 28. Yeah. I'm not going to start saying things now, but just know that I will start saying things soon. And by the way, that's like Houston has a 3-0 record against the Suns. You know, they have a way better point differential than the Suns. It's a bad matchup for them. Obviously, they have the tiebreaker, but again, the Suns are half a game back. Right? It's about taking care of business against a Portland team who the Suns did beat earlier this year on the road, right? They are 2-0 against Minnesota, who's ahead of them in the standings. They're tied with Denver, by the way, so they're 2 games behind Minnesota for that 3rd seed, who they have the tiebreaker against. They have the tiebreaker against the Los Angeles Lakers, who they're a game behind for the 5th seed. They have the tiebreaker, I believe, against the Golden State Warriors, and they have the tiebreaker so far against the Spurs, who, yes, the Spurs are the 2nd seed in the West. Wemby's in and out. They're only 3.5 games behind them. The way this team's playing basketball and the way that their schedule has been loaded to where they're going to be facing not only a lot of Eastern Conference teams, but a lot of lower-level Western Conference teams throughout the rest of the season. And these other teams, their schedules are going to pick up in intensity and strength of schedule. There is a legitimate chance that with how close the West is, you have a similar situation that the Houston Rockets found themselves in last year, ironically enough, where they barely sneak into a top 2 seed in the Western Conference because it's that close. Is that what I would put my money on? No. Is that certainly plausible with a team that right now has a positive point differential and is 8 games above 500 despite having an incredibly hard schedule? It is on the table with how close the margins are. One team goes on a losing streak. One team suffers an injury like the Denver Nuggets. One team has a bad week and the Suns have a good one, and some of them include head-to-head matchups. You could see from 7 to 3 in a matter of 4 days.
Yeah, I think your prime culprit here is the Lakers that could fall down. I think you're right. Another injury to one of these teams, you know, an Ant goes out for a little while. But the same honestly could be said for the Suns. You got Golden State, who is 2-1 against the Suns this season, sitting there. Like I think some of those teams are saying the same things about the Suns, the Rockets, the Lakers. Is well, if something happens there, we can slide in. So this is the bane of your existence when you're in the West, right? I mean, you look at it. It's just difficult.
Yeah, it's such a log jam, and there's so many tough teams on any given night. And I think the thing is, I kind of said it earlier, just keep putting your head down and keep doing your work. And Sunday, another opportunity for a culture win. Wizards are playing better basketball lately. We saw it not that long ago. Not necessarily the easiest out, but when you take care of business, you can show that you're a better team. I don't expect Trae Young to play. He might not play at all this year because they're worried about protecting that top 8 pick. That being said, they're a young team who plays hard, and you're going to have to match that energy. But just taking care of business, I think, is enough because, like you said, things just happen. And this is your reward for holding your own during that tough stretch. Yeah. That was the biggest thing, to come out of that tough stretch the way you did and to earn some of those wins, to beat Oklahoma City at home. Again, we're way past the point of, is this a good team or not? this is a good NBA team, and now it's a matter of where can they take advantage of other teams not having the culture wins that you have. There's also attrition going on around the Western Conference. I said it the first time that this team played against the Lakers. I wasn't that impressed by the win streak they were
Frauds.
on. And now we're starting to kind of see it come back down to earth when they play against real opponents. So just take care of business and just put your head down and see where that takes you.
The goon in the chat puts it well. We're not trapped in the West with them. They're trapped in the West with us. Again, taking care of business on Sunday is a very big deal because you look after that. And by the way, Sunday is at home. I thought it was on the road against Washington. It is the home game against Washington. Then you go on a massive 6-game road trip that starts with at Miami, at Detroit, and at New York, all with just 1 day of rest in between. Those are 3 very unique teams, 3 very good teams, okay? At Brooklyn after that, which they've been playing okay basketball in the new year. At Philly, who you never know, you roll the dice, and Philly's a good team. And then at Atlanta, who post Trae Young might just be the best team in the NBA. that is about as brutal of a 6-game stretch, and only one of those games has multiple days off, and Brooklyn, Philly's a back-to-back. You need to win on Sunday.
I am at the point where I do not care what is coming up in the schedule.
Fair enough.
Go out and play your way, you're going to win.
100%.
You're going to win more often than you're going to lose. And that seems to be the Suns team mentality is go out there, play our game, and in most cases, those chips are going to fall on our side of the table.
Yeah, I mean, I say it all starts, you don't want to look ahead, but starts with doing what you need to do on Sunday. I don't want to even call it a loser's mentality, but if you aim to play 500 ball on that trip, you still come back 9 games over 500.
Yeah.
And you be really close to 30 wins on the season. So we'll get to that when we get to that. But again, I think you've put yourself again in a really good position, especially with how well you've handled the test this week.
Yeah, right now, the Phoenix Suns would be the 4th seed in the Eastern Conference, and that's, again, like I said before, playing the Western Conference schedule. Really big trip for Devin Booker at Detroit. A little bit of a homecoming for him. At New York, we know that he loves playing in Madison Square Garden. Obviously, McHale, Karl Anthony Towns, we talked about all the connections for the game tonight, which, of course, they picked up the win. At Brooklyn, I guess. At Philly, Paul George
is homecoming.
Yeah, it's fair. It's true. And Jordan Otts, too. At Philly is Paul George, plus, for some reason, Devin Booker always has a little something extra for Philly. He has for a super long time. And then you're at Atlanta. That's a get-back game for Atlanta that had a 47-point fourth quarter against you, and you blew a lead against them earlier in the year. And then after that, that's the end of the road trip. But then you take on Miami, Brooklyn, Detroit, Cleveland to get to
But your hope by then is Jalen Green is back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so then you get that boost as well. There's all sorts of things.
Yeah.
It's the NBA. The schedule's not going to get significantly easier.
No.
Especially with the East being, they're not great, but they're better than in previous years as well.
Well, you're not playing, I mean, yeah, you have a game against Washington coming up, but you're not playing like Washington twice on a road back-to-back, and then you're playing the Pacers, and then you're playing the Bulls, and then the Hornets. No, like a lot of these are good teams or teams that have been playing good basketball recently. Let's get out of here on the Jalen Green note. I know we've been going long, but I think this game deserved it. There are a lot of people asking, when is Jalen Green coming back? Let's play what Coach Ott had to say. Do we still have that or no? Okay, let's get that loaded up here real quick. Hopefully, Jalen Green is back soon. He was getting some work in. He's been getting in work after the shoot-around when the media is available. Espo, you know that's not something that you really do for a guy who's still a long ways away.
If you're letting the media see him work out, you're dropping hints that he's closer than he has been.
And the timeline, Gil. I mean, look, we're about 2.5 weeks from when they said 2 to 3 weeks. Early next week is when we should be getting a reevaluation update. Who knows if he's going to play, but this is what Coach Ott had to say about where Jalen Green is in pregame.
Yeah, it just continues to progress at a good rate. Still more with coaches right now. But yeah, he continues to make steps, and everything seems to be pretty good.
With just you've talked about his demeanor has always been positive no matter what. How has you seen that grow even more, knowing that it's getting closer and closer?
Yeah, it's just healthy for him. It's been a long haul, and he stayed with it. The diligence to stay with it. Now you're at the point where you're back on the court. You're going to feel some general soreness just by getting out there in the court, and that's normal. That's not abnormal. That's not specific to the injury. So he's got to keep going. He's going to have to fight through some of that overall just soreness of back on the court. Now he's getting bodies, so the beating and banging with the bodies, and know that we're right there. You got to get across that finish line.
I mean, the biggest thing you hear, we're right there. We got to get across that finish line. Showing him working out, making that a thing that people can see, but also using that type of language is not an accident. Like, he wouldn't be saying stuff like that if we weren't right on the doorstep of this happening. I know it's been frustrating for us wanting him to come back. I know it's been frustrating for you all waiting to see him play, but it's been most frustrating for him. This is a peak athlete whose body hasn't been serving him the way that he wants it to. And as soon as he thinks he's ready, he endures a pretty serious setback as long as the time it's been. But that's why it makes sense that they've been so cautious about it. They're taking their time because it's important. If it's a couple extra days or weeks on the back end, then make sure that he's going to be ready from now through April and beyond. I'm all for it. I'm excited to see him play, and I feel like we're really close to it.
I'm calling my shot. They come back from the road trip the 25th.
This is kind of what I was thinking too.
I'm circling it. That's
So,
when he's back.
Home against Miami, a team that you would have seen a couple of games ago. I don't think it's impossible they bring him back on a road trip. To be honest with you, I think the earliest that we could see him at Madison Square Garden on the road. That is, well, and again, that's Saturday, January 7th, which is like 5 days after what would have been the 3-week period. So if it's
17th, correct?
that'd be the 17th.
Yeah.
Sorry. I don't know what I said there. But that would be 3.5 weeks after what it was said, 2 to 3 weeks. If he's just now playing with the coaches, get him to do 3-on-3 over the weekend, see how he reacts 5-on-5 early in the week. Next week, while you're on the road trip, if he plays well, maybe he wants to make this grand return at Madison Square Garden. I think that's unlikely. Honestly, maybe Brooklyn 2 days later, because that's an easier team and he's going to play under 30 minutes. I don't care at this point, as long as he's healthy, Gil, because you're winning games. You've played this entire season without him. You won the game that he got injured in. Yeah. You have done nothing but prove yourself without Jalen Green, and you have earned the right to not rush or panic in multiple ways. Don't panic at the trade deadline, and don't panic when it comes to bringing back Jalen Green, because we are going to be all right until then. Yeah,
absolutely. I think the big thing we've talked about is a runway, because obviously you need to get used to him playing and playing alongside him for that. But again, we're at game 38, and obviously it's enough time to say that what we've seen in this sample size is no longer a sample size. It just is what it is. But we've still at this time got 44. He's not coming back next game, but got 44 games left. And even if it is after the 6-game road trip, he's still got 30-plus games left. So my biggest focus and concern with him is, 1, his health, but 2, having enough time to get him incorporated with everything and everybody learning how to play off of one another so we can get this magic back and kind of restore it to that level with him in the lineup as well.
Any final thoughts on a 112-107 victory on a nearly 2-hour-long PHNX Suns post-game show where everybody stayed with us for the long haul?
Shout out to y'all, man.
Barely lost anybody throughout this entire thing. That just shows how psyched you all are. How about 20 minutes on the Dillon Brooks Most Improved Player of the Year candidacy?
Deborah, happy birthday. They got your win for you.
There you go. And it's still your birthday.
Talk about a birthday gift.
That's awesome. Okay, any final thoughts before we get out of here?
Winning's
I think
fun.
we've covered it all.
Yes, winning is much more fun than whatever the hell last year
We wouldn't be doing an hour and 45-minute post-game show for a loss of the New York Knicks. I'll tell you that. Look, tonight was fun. Sunday should be fun. The road trip should be fun. Every single time this team takes the court should be fun. And for that, we are grateful. We're grateful for all of you joining us here in chat. Hit that like button on your way out for staying up with us. Hit that subscribe button as well so you don't miss anything, including all the other coverage of all your other favorite local sports team. Become a member today, like the people who were gifted memberships or who joined, get access to exclusive content, exclusive emojis, prepaid super chat. Become a diehard today. Also check out the PHNX newsletter, which is absolutely free at gophnx.com/newsletter. Alex D'Agostino does a fantastic job keeping you up to date every single weekday morning with fresh, unique writing, not just an amalgamation of links about all the other sports. No, we would never do that to you. We care too much about you. Alex has been doing an amazing job writing about the Cardinals, but also dipping his toes into every other sport across the valley, including, of course, the Suns as their season goes on. So be your most informed Arizona sports fan. It's absolutely free. Go phnx.com/newsletter. You can follow the show at PHNX_Suns. Wow. Got a compliment from Charles. That's how you know it's a good night. You can follow Espo at Espo. Catch him every weekday morning on Southwest By. So you can follow Gil at Gil McGregor_. By the way, subscribe to our audio feed if you haven't already. Espo and Gil sat down for about 30 minutes. It was a really great podcast, getting to know Gil. Some awesome stories about Kobe, TJ Warren, being a ball boy for the Hornets.
The time he stole the Mona Lisa.
The Corvette that he drives.
Dating Sydney Sweeney.
The puppies that he saved from a burning building. How he got his pilot's license. How he was a backup singer and dancer for Bruno Mars.
How he threatened me to get the job. That was a fun story.
Yeah, and the fact that he also has won a UFC lightweight championship. So definitely
No relation to the other McGregor guy, though.
No.
And named the greatest athlete in Wake Forest history as well.
It is true. Dropped 50 in college. I mean, listen, we're spoiling the podcast. Listen on the audio only and subscribe to our audio feed simply because we are going to be giving you a lot more audio exclusive content for 2026. And of course, you can follow the Freckled Mamba behind the Mac. Thank you for a long show, Freckled Mamba, plus a watch along, plus a pregame show. Always does amazing work back there. Follow him at Freckled Mamba. You can follow me at ERIKRUBY. Stick around. We got 15 more minutes about how Colin Gillespie, Dillon Brooks are going to be battling it out for most improved player. Now, actually, maybe we'll just say that for an audio-only episode. See you Sunday.
Ahoy, hoy.
We all silly like the mayor.